Okay, so welcome back, guys. Now, what we'll be covering is HTML and CSS, and just checking. So, I thought one of the best ways to teach you would be to show you something that's actually hosted. So, here's my profile website. As you can see, this is what it looks like, and I'll have to fix that. Right. Okay, so um, what I intend to do today is teach you how to do, at least to a basic extent, how to build something like this, right? Now, we'll be using a tool called Bootstrap. I think it must be mentioned here somewhere. Bootstrap. There we go. It's a CSS framework. So now again, web development has a whole bunch of frameworks. So CSS being a language, uh, not a programming language, there's no variables and whatnot, just a language, but it has a framework in CSS as well that is called Bootstrap, and it has a whole bunch of really cool features. So I'll be showing you. So it has stuff like cards. This is a card. This whole big white one is also a card. um, there's grid, so how the way I've aligned this guy in the center and this guy out here and vertically aligned them and whatnot, all that is also bootstrap magic using the bootstrap grid. You have collapsible menus, you have badges, you have alerts, all these things you can add to your HTML CSS very quickly using bootstrap. So it's one of the most widely used frameworks of CSS. So now I'll start with what uh, HTML actually is. Okay, so let's start with a new HTML page. What I hope you guys are typing along this time. Pehle to it was just theory, so you didn't really need to. Now you guys are supposed to do this stuff with me again, like yesterday. So let's pick up this, and this, and go. Let's put the title as my website, and let's save this. Not over here, definitely. I think I did make a fine, works. Um, so just type this much in. We'll have to close the body tag and close the HTML tag. So, kind of like brackets, or commonly known as parentheses in Python and other programming languages, we have tags in HTML which have to be closed. So if you open head, you have to close head. This is the syntax. You put a front slash, it means a closing tag. You put nothing and just text, that's a opening tag. So some tags are exclusions, like this one for example, where you don't need to close anything, but most of them you have to close. Uh, so what this is doing is, like, this is additional header stuff in the HTML that will not actually show up on your web page. Everything that is inside body will show up in your HTML on your web page. So in the body, let's say we put hi, welcome to my website. Just plain text, okay? Not formatted by HTML in any way, just a basic HTML structure. And let's um, open it. Okay, so now to open it, this isn't as complicated as running Python. You literally just have to navigate to wherever your file is and right click, open with any browser that you want. I prefer Chrome. And there you go. So the title we had set as my website. You can see it come up here. Here's the text. Hi, welcome to my website. That's all we've put in here right now. Now let's add actual HTML tags to this. Let me explain though. The title was, as you can see, for this guy here. We could live. Yeah, let's do it live. Um, and HTML just says that okay, here HTML is starting, here HTML is ending. This is a thing that you have to mention in HTML5. I'm not 100% sure why, but you have to. Um, head is just for header, as I mentioned. To this stuff is not actually shown, so here you'll see I have imported Google Fonts, Bootstrap. I have connected my CSS file, so I've used the link tag to actually connect a style sheet of the type text/css located at uh, reference location in dot slash means current folder, and then index.css. So just get a CSS file. So the way we'll be doing this with Bootstrap would be slightly different, since the CSS file won't be right next to it, but would rather be served by the server. As I mentioned earlier, when the browser reads the HTML file that it got as a response from the server, it realizes, oh, it requires the CSS file, or it requires this font file. So I will request for that as well from the server, since I don't have it. So to so the URL here should be something that can be got from the server, right? So that's why that'll be slightly different in Django, where the um, URL would be an actual URL and not just a relative path, but everything else remains the same. And same way, so we can import Bootstrap later. I think let's teach you guys first some basic tags. So um, we have heading tags. So h3 Ankit's website. The h followed by a size between 1 and 6. 6 is the smallest, 1 is the biggest. Um, Again, this is a tag that you have to close. So you start h3 here, you end h3 here, and then reload here, and there we go, we got a heading. If I want to increase the size of this, let's make it the biggest size possible, h1, and there we go, that's huge. That's the smallest header you can get, and that's actually smaller than the normal text. So yeah, that's how you do a heading. Let's just leave it at 3 right now. That's a good middle point. Yeah, and now let's add some paragraphs. So a p tag is for paragraph. Let's copy this paragraph. You guys can type whatever you want. As I had mentioned, A is an anchor tag. It's used to connect to different websites. So we can do stuff like this. You could again put in whatever URL you want, doesn't matter. The text for the link will be typed between these two tags. That is Yeah, there we go. So that's some basic tags. We also have, very importantly, a form tag. Um, Paragraph is open but hasn't been closed, right? So let's put a form after this text. Method equal to get action equal to blanket and the time. Or rather, we don't need an action right now. Um, Action is basically where to post. So say, okay, we could do this. Um, Search something on my sentiments website, and the action could be the link for that. You guys could leave action blank and it'll just reload your page um, with additional get parameters. Um, and you could be like input type equal to text. Input does not need to be closed because there's no text to put inside it. We could add a placeholder inside it. So button type equal to submit, and button could be like submit chalega, or search, and we click here and corona sucks search. File not found. I guess a local host file cannot call an actual internet file. Instead, would this work then? This worked. That's stupid. Okay. Let's remove the action then and just search. That could have, as you can see, it added a get parameter out here. So I search something else and that works. I search, and that works too. So that's how a get request is sent. You could, of course, post the form as well, but then nothing will show up, so that's kind of useless. So you can see search, and I just did post. That's not supposed to show up, didn't I? Yeah, no. Huh, it won't show up. Yeah, maybe it hadn't reloaded. My bad. Uh, so if I saw something that, if it's post, it won't show up. If it's get, it will show up. Um, that's basic HTML for you guys. Basically everything that you want visible will have to be inside body. Everything has to be inside HTML. Head is used for importing stuff like this. Um, Code for this is of course available on this link. So you can see it's plain HTML CSS only. So you guys would be able to sort of understand what's going on. There's a lot of bootstrap that I've used. Um, oh yeah, I'll demonstrate bootstrap to you guys. Let's copy this as well. Or rather, wait, let me show you how to do it properly. Otherwise, you'll not be able to do it again. So you go to Bootstrap and you pick up the code. Okay, you there we go. Okay, right. Um, you have to copy this up here as I have done here. You have to copy that one into your head, and you have to copy all of these at the end of your body. So there we go. JavaScript on the bottom, and what this would do is let you use Bootstrap for a lot of things. Right now, post gives you that notification if you try to reload. So a lot of websites that you have filled data on in a form, and you do this, you get that because a post request has been sent. So this guy would be like, by reloading, I would be sending a post request again. Do you actually want me to do that? Because you could have done a sign up form, you could have done a login form, you could have done a form to create data. You do not want to repeat that, right? So that's why it gives you that, as you can say, returning to the page might cause any action you took to be repeated. For example, you filled a long ass form and then you reload and it submits the form twice. That's not what you want, right? You only wanted to submit once. So that's why it's giving me this. I cancel and I change this to post to get, because we don't want post, and we go to this URL. Yeah, as you can see, my website suddenly started looking slightly different. Fonts changed. The URL looks a lot more like Google's right now. The one without Bootstrap looked horrible. It was a darkish blue with an underline. That was what was visible on ancient websites as well. This is what Google's URL also looks like, so that's great. The input boxes changed. I'm sure on your website, if you haven't put Bootstrap yet, you can compare between what I'm seeing and what you are seeing. I'll zoom in right now. I forgot to zoom in on my site. I'm sorry. Um, and Bootstrap gives you a lot of cool stuff. So say I just add class equal to button out here. Okay, and if Bootstrap is removed, nothing happens. It looks like the old website. But as soon as Bootstrap isn't removed, I just did a control slash there, by the way, in case anyone was wondering what in hell happened. That's for comment. This is what an HTML comment looks like. It's a less than symbol, exclamation, minus minus, then whatever you want to comment, and then to end it, minus minus, and then greater than. Hmm. So if we activate Bootstrap, that's what it looks like now. Okay, so what the problem is that I did not tell it what type of button. So button primary, and there we go. Now that button looks much better, doesn't it? And you can change the color. You could just make it, say, button dark, and it'll become dark, and so on. So if you want to see all the things you can do with Bootstrap, you can see components, and buttons is what I just did. So all these button options are there. Okay, so you could use those, and as you can see, I just did this and this. Why do I keep forgetting to turn off? You wanted this, right? Huh. The code for my website. Um, So yeah, that's what it is for. You can also get button outline, which is circle. Let's try one of those. So yeah, you can use Bootstrap to like eliminate most of your CSS needs, that is decorative needs. You can use Bootstrap Grid. I'll show you some very quickly. Div is just a division, so you're just saying get me a section. Like this will be one section of the website that stays together, sort of thing. Class and ID is something I'll introduce while I'm going into custom CSS. Um, Class equal to container, div class equal to row, and div class equal to column. And let's have two columns. First column can have the paragraphs, and this can have the form. ठीक है. This would divide the web page into two columns.